Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hot Takes League of Legends edition. Just Davide with me today, because we've got a bit of sad news actually, which I don't know if people who follow us all on social media might have seen already. And we'll just get the awkwardness out of the way for those wondering maybe why Ethan's not here. If you don't follow him on social media, then you might have missed this, where hopefully you've been following his series on all the LEC teams prior to LEC Versus, which was very good, doing interviews with all of them, getting some insights before the games happened. But he did announce that the one with Striker was pretty much his last, one of his last pieces. I think one other interview came out as well, because he's moving on to new pastures. But you know what they say, the grass isn't always greener. The grass is greener where you water it, so maybe he should have just stayed. You know, maybe he might regret it. But in any case, he's not here. And actually, I don't know about you, Davide. I feel like it was maybe about time anyway. Maybe getting a bit. We need to freshen things up, I think. And honestly, I'm just sick of him.
Probably, yeah.
I'm just sick of him bringing up Arsenal as well. Like this, I know people are probably sick of. Hang on.
That's a step too far here.
Hang on.
That's a step too far. Why are you
What is
talking
this
about
voice?
Arsenal, my guy?
What are you doing here?
Why are you talking about Arsenal and pretending I'm gone?
What do you mean pretend?
I'm here. Just put the camera on.
Then what is?
Yeah, I'm here.
What was your
And I will
tweet about?
stay. I
You
will stay on
left.
hot takes.
You left. You were asking for too much
I'll stay
money.
on hot
That's what.
takes.
Your salary demands were ridiculous. How are you even here?
Okay. Let me settle things. So I'm the least paid person in this call right now. Okay, so everyone is aware of it. And second, I just need to go to follow another path, but I will stay on hot takes for a while. So
You have to.
So yeah, I'm not gone. I stay on hot takes, and I will still be an Arsenal fan in this room of with a Tottenham fan, sadly. And yeah, we will still have beef because you're an LR fan and I'm a Casey fan, and we have a lot of things to talk about this week, right?
I don't know. Have I ever been revealed as an LR fan? I hardly see them even
when
as
I
like
look
an
at your
English
ranking. When I look at your ranking, I can tell you're at least a British fan.
No, I look more like an SK fan than anything compared to your guys.
Okay.
But we'll see.
But yeah, we have a lot to talk about, and I feel like let's jump into the LEC, no, Lee? I think there are some stuff we need to talk about with this LEC.
Someone is too excited, I guess.
Well,
I mean, there's a team that went 0-3, I think, no? Like they are there, right? They are there.
And it's looking rough. I mean, is there? Obviously, we're talking about Los Ratones, who already have played KCB, which, like, on paper should have been their best chance at a win. Didn't happen. Do you guys see them actually winning a game? Like, being realistic?
I do.
Best of ones. So.
I mean, their only shot, I would say, is Team Heretics, maybe. But outside of that, nah, I don't.
I do. After that KC series, I have a little bit more faith. Had yesterday been the same level of performance as the two previous days, I would have been very, very, let's say, not confident about it. I think now there's like a chance. I'm not sure who they might lose to, but I guess it's BO1, and we've seen some random stuff happen this week, I think. So I think there's a chance that we'll get a win. I'm not sure who against who though. Like it could literally be like, I won't say like MCOI level or like one of the top teams, but it could happen. And you can call it copium, you can call it whatever, but I still think there are a lot of things that LR needs to work on and fix. I'm not sure how many they can fix over the next few weeks, because I don't think it's something that you can really improve that much in such a small period of time.
And the thing is, GLEC is there's only 3 weeks left, right? Like
yeah,
they don't,
exactly. So it's like they might get away with a win because of draft, because of someone on the other team is playing, but I don't think it's all gone. It's like if the topic was, or the question was, will they get to playoffs? That's probably going to be a no for me. Will they get a win? I would want them to, just because of it would be an encouraging sign for the team. I was having a conversation with Yamato yesterday after the series. The interview will be coming up soon, and it's like he seemed a little bit more confident and happy about the level of play that the guys showed yesterday, and I feel like they probably also have found kind of the way they want to play the game while also kind of sticking to the meta, which was clearly something clear that clearly was not happening on the first 2 days. The main thing I think is that they wanted to give more of a standard team comp that most people try to use in pro play, but it kind of goes against how the team wanted to, or like how the team always excelled the most in terms of playstyle. And I think that what we've seen on yesterday, it was much more akin to, I think, how LR is comfortable playing on. Aside from, I think, Crowny potentially having a little bit too many of missteps. I think his positioning hasn't been the greatest. But I also think that their team fighting can be very, very messy. And that's something that's just one thing I'm mainly looking at for the coming weeks. Because I think it's how I say, their weakest part right now, one of the weakest parts right now, compared to other LEC teams. But it's also the one that can reward them the most if they're able to like improve on it. Because I think like sorry, it's like a lot of LEC teams, they feel like that their team fight is not good. Like I have to be honest, it's probably because of the way the new meta is, or like the new season is, but it feels like people are still trying to kind of play the threads and the limits as if it would last year, but it's completely different right now, and teams have to get used to it.
I mean, for LR, I feel like their biggest issue in the first 2 matches was that they kind of relied on Nemesis to be the not the carry, and that's the problem to me. Like they relied on Nemesis to put rhythm on the map and help the other carries. I think he played 2 games of Rise in the first 2 days, and like you won't expect the Rise to carry the game. You will expect the Rise to put rhythm on the map and just like have an impact on the other lanes, right? And while I think the other lanes are not playing up to the LEC standards so far, I feel like you can only rely on Nemesis to be the carry. And I feel like even last year, when Los Ratones was not doing well, Nemesis has always been their bread and butter, like to actually have some winning options. And I feel like in this last game against KC, I felt like they understood that and they played for Nemesis, and Nemesis was their winning option with that Oriana. He played the lane not that well actually. I feel like the lane was kind of even, where I think against Azir he has to be winning in the best scenario. But after that, in the later stages and in the mid game and stuff, he found the resources, he found the catches on Yahoo, and I feel like it's the way Los Ratones can win game right now, especially because I feel like the bot lane is not playing well at all, to be honest. Like I feel like the bot lane is clearly, like, even I would say like for sure, Baus is not playing that well, but it was kind of expected, right? Like you knew before even seeing him on the LEC stage that it won't be the same standard as he had against the ERL and NLC top laners, right? Like it will be harder for sure, and he will have a hard time. I think even during last year, like at the end of last year, a lot of more team were prepared to play against Baus, and it just shows that they just found the solutions, right, against his champ pool, against his way of playing the game. And so I think like the bot lane, I was expecting the bot lane to play like at least on GLDC middle of the table, let's say even maybe lower low rankings of the LEC, but they were not even playing at that standard. And I think that's the biggest issue that LR need to fix right now, especially like seeing Crowny on the Corki for the first 2 games. I think he was like 100% win rate on it in the last year. It was like his must play for sure, and I think he was like 100% win rate on it. And seeing him having such poor performances on the champ was kind of depressing, I feel like, for LR, because you're not expecting that for your entrance in GLC, especially against KCB. And then I feel like as well, Reckless is not having the impact you would expect the support to have. I feel like the issues he already had last year are kind of showing in the LEC right now, that he's not he's not that much of a playmaker, let's say. And I feel like that's the biggest issue. He just doesn't. He's just not aggressive enough, not precise enough, I would say, because even on the Bard, there's a lot of ults that were wasted, to be honest. Like you see that there's a lot that he has to work on. And yeah, I feel like the Bard performance was the worst to me. Honestly, like even that Brome where he went 0-0-0, like you can see there are a lot of things that are not functioning right now. And I'm just scared that they are not in the good mindsets anymore, and that maybe this first week might have broke them. I hope it doesn't, and I hope they can bounce back, because that would be depressing to see them for the only split in GLDC being so bad, honestly. So I hope for sure that they will find their way out of this situation. But I just feel like even last year in the last split, we could see that there was some stuff in the team that were not functioning. The dynamics were kind of broken, honestly. Like you could see after that trio against KCB last year in the EMEA Masters, that the team had a lot of issues, maybe internally, maybe between the players. I don't know. I'm not in the team, so I can't tell. But at least there was a dynamic that was not the same at the first 2 splits, right? And I'm just scared that they couldn't repair it, you know. And that right now it just shows in this first split of LEC that they are not coming in with the best dynamic, with the best ambitions, and yeah, I just feel like maybe the players feel like it's already lost, you know, and actually it might be, because now they lost against the second worst team in the league, I guess. So yeah, their only way out is honestly win against Team Heretics next week, I think. Because I think other than that, the other teams are just better than them. Like JX, the next week they play GX and Shifters. I guess we're going to talk about it a bit later, but I feel like these are 2 teams that are just better than them.
It does feel like yeah, like the wind has kind of gone out of the whole Los Ratones hype train as well. Like this is like purely anecdotal as someone that like doesn't really watch co-streams, or doesn't watch casual streams and stuff. But even just as someone like outside of that immediate community, you would always see the hype. Like you'd see things on Twitter, people share clips and that of when it was the glory days of like winning EMEA Masters last year. This last weekend, like I've seen like no. And again, it's like anecdotal from like what I see on my timeline, but like I just didn't see any like hype around it or any good vibes kind of in that aspect. Again, that's like purely just what I see on my timeline. But the thing with Crowny as well that I feel like maybe gives him a bit more pressure, kind of like just like the career trajectory of him compared to the others. Like Baus is not really like a pro player anyway. Like I remember when they first started the project, he was like, yeah, I want to play in LEC, and like it doesn't look like that was like his main thing in his career. So maybe not that much pressure. Velia, obviously he's getting his first chance, so understandably, like he would
That
maybe.
last game was good. Like the other two were not that good, but that last game was decent, really. Like he had a decent performance compared to the two others.
Like for him, I could get. Obviously, it would be like obviously for all of them, it's going to be stressful and upsetting and whatnot. And for Velia as well, is like probably after Crownie, I'd feel like it's the second like toughest one. Like I saw his interview with you, Davide, and he like really looked like quite upset and said that he needed to stop trolling and stuff like that. But then like Nemesis, by choice, hadn't played in the LEC for years, so you don't feel like the pressure's on him quite as much. Like career-wise, Reckless has had the bulk of his career already as well. Also, probably could have played in the LEC if he wanted to, I would imagine. But Crownie was one, like his exit from the LEC was even kind of surprising when it happened. Like it seemed harsh that he didn't get a team when he first got cut, and this is like his chance to show I do still belong in the LEC, and maybe for summer or maybe for next year to be showing potential teams that they should be trying to sign him. And if this is his second chance and he feels like he's blowing it, or he feels like things aren't going that well, like clearly it's not gonna feel great.
And and Crownie, when you look back like 2 years and a half, like earlier, he was maybe the best ADC in the league. Like I remember in spring 2023, to me he was my MVP, right? When BDS was like that close to win a title, when they got reverse sweep against Mad Lions, but he was like insane. He was for sure the best, and that's why I guess many had higher standards for him, because you just expect this guy to be at least middle of the table in GLC. And he just isn't. So far, he just isn't. And even when he goes to this most comfy pick, which is Corki, that is the most prior pick with Yunara so far in the league, and even in the other region, I just feel like it's looking very rough for him. And again, I think all the blame don't go only to him, because I feel like Reckless is not having a great showing at all so far. So I think the entire bot lane need to work on something. I don't know what, but they need to work on a lot of stuff. If
To
they
be
want at least to
0-0-0 as
compete.
a support in a game that you lost seems like kind of crazy. I just don't see how
Yeah.
that's
I think
possible.
there are. For me, it's like Crownie gets a lot of attention in terms of he is kind of forced to be the carry of this team, because like in the first two games, like you said, Nemesis wasn't really on one, so it was a lot on him, and he got caught out quite a few times. And yesterday, I feel like he just mainly struggled with the fact that the team fights were super messy. He was like walking in or like moving in places that he shouldn't have gone. The entire team looked a little bit how do you call it? Like not in harmony in that sense. I'm not sure what's the right term for it, but it's like it just looks like Velia, Nemesis, and Baus are on one side, and then the ADC is kind of on the other side. There were a lot of times where they were trying to force plays and force stuff to catch out the enemy mid or ADC, and it looked really, really off, I think. For me, Nemesis is the only constant, so I think it's just worth playing around him. And then Yamato also told me about that. He also thinks that it's probably one of the things that they need to work on the most. Just having whoever plays more for his own mid laner or for the mid laner better has more chances of carrying the game or like making that transition.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the formula that Alars needs to go with. I think Nemesis has clearly shown that he has the level enough to stay on this league. I think these first 3 games have made it quite clear to me, at least.
I don't know. I feel like the first 2 ones were not that great. Like I remember the first one, he had like 0 impact on his rise or something.
Yeah, no, I remember his first game on Rise had little impact. I remember the second was a little bit better, but I feel like it's not like he has always been the carry to me whenever I think of LR.
Even last
and
year,
he wasn't given that role in his first 2 games. I think he did what he should have, or like what's technically expected from him in those games. And like the one thing that, like for example, for me, Velia got a lot of harsh critics in the first two games, but I don't think it's even on him. Like it's necessarily not on him, in the sense that whenever you're the only engage on option for the team, and especially you play a champion like Jarvan that doesn't have a way out, it just makes it super easy to look like you're inting the whole time. Like there are so many players I can think of that have done the same thing on Jarvan, and one of them can be like stuff like people like Kanavi, Peanut, like top players from other regions as well. So it's not like, I want to be criticizing so hard, and especially I think he came back quite good yesterday with the Mundo. I just not sure where the mental state will be. Like I hope they can kind of stay cool and work little by little, and don't just get over focused on the fact that they need the W. Like I'm honestly fine. Like I'm not sure how fans will think of it, but I'm fine seeing an LR go 0-11 as long as they put good matches to me. That's what I want to see. I want to see LR having a game like yesterday would be fine for me if it's like every game like this for the rest of the round robin. I would be happy, even if it doesn't like lead to success. I think it just goes to show that there are ways that the team can work. And then one thing I'm still kind of trying to appreciate is the fact that they're still trying to stay akin to what LR has been, and just trying to use especially Bao's strengths and champion pool as a way to kind of break away from the meta, or like found their own solution to the meta that others will never replicate anyway, because no one plays those champions. Like I was talking to Tao the other day, and he said that he described Volibear as disgusting, as a disgusting champion to deal with, while he was playing, I think, one of the most broken champions in the top lane. It's like, if someone comes up to you and tells you that, oh, you're playing one of the most OP champions, but the other guy who plays against you is disgusting, then the other guy must be quite good in terms of laning phase, at least, or at least in terms of like early phase. I think what LR struggled in last year, and that's now getting punished a lot, was always the team fighting. Because I never thought LR struggle when it comes to like fundamentals and lane mechanics. It's just that the way they play the macro game, the way they need to play around Bao's like peculiarity, like particular playstyle, is something that needs more time and more attention. And it's not something that you can copy from others, or like it's not as easy to say, oh, let's play just like LCK teams, LPL teams, or like top LEC teams, because it's not going to work. You're going to get smashed if you play the same way. So
yeah, the thing is, now they play the Bao's way and they got smashed. So
yeah, I know.
It just feels like there's no way out,
Yeah, but for me, I actually would probably prefer them sticking to the Bao's formula. Like if I want to see what the max potential of this roster can be by them playing their own playstyle, rather than have them switch over to something that's normal. Because otherwise, honestly, like the best fix would then to just replace Bao's, get another top laner, like get another like super rookie in the ERLs, and you probably would be better off,
Yeah, but then that won't be LR,
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of LR.
No, but so I mean, not even like as a team in terms of dynamics and how they play, but more in terms of like how they created the project, and the fact that like as a project, if you remove Baus, then it's not LR anymore, right now, as it is like as a content team and stuff. So I feel like the issue is, like, I don't really agree with you in the sense that, to me, Baus is limiting LR options, honestly. I feel like his playstyle is now known from everyone.
Wait, I'm not saying it's limiting. I just want them to stick to it.
You mean you're not saying it's not limiting?
No. I'm not saying it's limiting. I just want them to stick to what they're doing, what they did in the first
Yeah,
the first week,
but
playing like stuff that Baus is comfortable on, and making sure that he continues to play on those champions while other players try to fix their own gameplay or like find a new way to make it work while
yeah.
still having Baus play on those champions.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like right now it's more on the other players to step up anyway. Like I agree with you on that. Like because Baus will not change his playstyle in 3 weeks for sure, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Baus will stay Baus. But I just feel like their only way out is if the bot lane wake up. They understand that they need to play through mid and like to give Nemesis good matchups and stuff that can carry on, like Azir, Orianna, all those stuff. And yeah, they just pick a support that will open mid on every wave and just give him the resources so he can have the impact he always had on team fights. And yeah, I just feel like that's the only way out now right now. And if Crowny can play with low resources on his Corki and just add as like pop off in the later stages, that's good. Right now he hasn't done it, so yeah. And actually, Baus Sonji, like even though I feel like his gameplay is kind of limiting, I would say like and his playstyle in general because all the teams know how to counter it. I feel like he did some good stuff that needs to be pointed out or highlighted at least because for example, I saw a lot of mid roams, you know, that he put Nemesis on a great spot because of this. So yeah, he did some good stuff. It's just that he won't be an asset for his team. I feel like he will more be like a burden that they need to carry, and that's when you already have a lot of issue to fix, that's another issue you have to kind of play with. But I would say he wasn't like the player I was expecting, and so far he has not like been that outstanding, but he was at least trying stuff while the others were kind of sleeping, I would say.
I guess the silver lining,
What do you think?
not sure if it's something like LR themselves would be that fussed about. But at least from a right perspective of getting them into the league, the silver lining is that the highest peak viewership of LEC Versus so far was a game with Los Ratones in it against KC, 470,000.
I don't know if you saw the stats, but that's true. But last year, the most streamed game. Yeah.
So last year in LEC Winter was like the peak of the whole year for LEC, and I forget which game it was actually. I want to say it was like KCG2 maybe, or KCM.
No, it was KCM Koi, and it was like
800
more than 500k. Yeah.
I saw 800 on esports charts earlier. So it's...
Oh yeah, but I mean on the first week. On the first week, it was like more than 500, and it was KCM Koi.
Yeah. So not like totally record breaking, but still, I mean, like the highest game so far is a game with them in it. Obviously, KC helps a big amount as well. But I think the highest like specific stream peak as well has been Cadral. I presume during that game. I couldn't tell. I don't have the paid access to see all the fancy stats, but I'd guess it was probably the same game. So from Riot's perspective,
but the thing is, it was already the case last year. Like he was already the co-streamer with the most viewers anyway, you know. So I just feel like, and that's what I was thinking when I saw that Riot was opening to Los Ratones. It's that anyway, the Los Ratones fans and the Cadral fans will tune in to his stream to watch the LEC, whether it's because Los Ratones is in the league or whether it's because he's just co-casting the game, you know. So, and right now I think it shows, you know, with these numbers we were talking about, like the fact that last year the highest peak was higher than this year because like last year Cadral was streaming the LEC and the Los Ratones fan and the Cadral fans were tuning in to his stream, you know. So to me, it just doesn't make that much of a difference, honestly, in terms of viewership. But at least it brings another fan base to the league, I guess.
I'm just trying to see.
I mean, I think my biggest issue with the low numbers, it's just that the format is meh, like very questionable. Like having BO1s, and we got so many tech pauses yesterday as well that kind of also messes up the timing, and also just think the schedule is a little bit weird just because It starts at 5. Like yesterday, we ended up like going all the way until 10:30, 11 on a Monday. I don't think people will tune in for that long on a Monday. Even if you have all the time you want to watch, it's like more than 5 hours, 6 hours to stay. I think it's something that you can't really do much with it. People have said, oh, why don't you do BO3s? Like, why don't we have BO3s? And then there will be always the issues around budgeting and the fact that it just costs a lot to have the broadcast goes for that long, and it's not even sure that you're going to get enough return on the investment made, at least from an economical point of view. But yeah, I agree with Ethan's. Like, I don't think LR's addition so far has been that positive, or like it did that. It definitely, if we were about to see, if our expectations were, oh, with Cadril and Los Ratones in, we're going to break, I don't know, get closer to like 700, 800 peak viewers on the first week, it would be fine. But judging by those numbers, it's not. So
It would probably help if they were winning, like realistically, because that would get a lot more hype around it. And
no, of course, yeah, but like that then. But that's still based on competitive success, and like, and then what if like next year LR, like what if this year LR does well, but then the next time they get the chance they do badly? Like, you can really base everything on that. I mean, kind of the one there's always the discussion that like league viewership is super dependent on the international tournaments by T1's presence. There's always going to be, it's the kind of the same issue. Our goal is to increase it across the board if we want to make sure that esports gets better and better and bigger. And if
for
it's
example,
only
that's the issue with
it's
China as well, I guess. The fact that they
but
haven't
that's also
won
partially
wars and stuff.
that's also partially with the LEC. If we remove MKOI and KC and G2 potentially, like Fnatic's fan base is deteriorating because the team is lacking success. Other teams have struggled to build their own fan bases. So at least I appreciate the fact that some of them are trying, or at least each one of them is trying to kind of find their own dimension. But it's not like it's going to take years. Just like Fnatic built their legacy over, I don't know, at least 5 years of success, and just like G2 had to build it from scratch back in 2016 when they first joined. It's not like it's going to come immediately. And if you're like in the short term, unfortunately, you're based on competitive success, and if that doesn't come, then numbers are going to be low.
And just to clarify as well, looking at last year's stats, in week 1 there were 2 games that were more viewed than this one from the weekend. On the first day, KC against G2 had 546,000 peak viewers, and on week 1, day 2, KC against KOI had 592. So, if anything, clearly it's the KC effect that's got that new peak. The one thing on that as well, the peak single stream last year in winter across the whole tournament, so including playoffs, was Cadril with 139,000. So his peak from this weekend was higher. I wouldn't read too much into that though. That's like, I'd imagine part of that is just he's got a bigger percentage probably of the viewership these days anyway. It's not so much the whole thing growing, probably more just like he's got a bigger chunk of the pie as he's got more and more popular. Let's talk about another team, shall we? Because we've got an hour left and we've done one team out of 12. Who do you guys want to go for? Maybe someone at the top. Oh,
Go ahead. Just give me 1 second. I'll come back.
You pick then, Davide. Someone that's doing well.
I think I really want to make 2 shoutouts. I think the first one is Navi. I was genuinely impressed. Aside from the loss against Fnatic yesterday, the fact that they were able to get 2 wins already shows that they're probably closer to the mid of the pack. And I was getting flamed for putting them 6 and above Fnatic. I guess people think, people were right about Fnatic being better than Navi, but I still think that the macro and the level of play that the guys put together in that series was quite honestly phenomenal. Especially like the entire like first 20 minutes.
Yep.
It looked to me honestly, I was looking at a LCK team in terms of how composed they were playing. Obviously, I think new team, there's like a lot of things that you need to fix, and probably like a little bit like LR, the team fighting part for these newer lineups is something that will need more time to fix. I think Fnatic took the game away purely out of experience, like in terms of how to play team fights more better and slowly. And that's something that also Razo told me yesterday in the interview. But I guess it's a very promising first week for them. I'm not expecting to be top of the pack, but definitely a much stronger start than last year. Like I think they one of the teams that stepped up the most. The other team for me is Shifters. I was honestly not expecting that.
Same.
I think Nuke, honestly, like Nuke was to me very, very outstanding.
I was
I'm
expecting
also
Nick to be that good, honestly, but yeah.
No, like I think Nuke. I rate Nuke quite highly because I think he in the past few years, like you mentioned when Crowning was on BDS, though in those periods that like they were quite good, like both of them. I think that it's just that based on last year, there were
Especially
expectations that he
summer.
didn't.
Especially
Yeah,
summer.
yeah, he struggled a lot. I think he's probably that also has kind of to do with the meta potentially. That like he's kind of the player that if you give him resources, he can actually take over games. I think this is probably the right meta for him. Um,
And
and
he's
I
a very good
think
laner as well. And the lane,
yeah.
especially in mid, I feel like is very important right now.
Yeah, for me these are kind of the two standouts. I think for me there is a standout negatively, or like it's kind of a weird one because
Ooh, woo.
and it's
Heretics, isn't it?
I'm
Drop
going
the
to say
name. Drop the name.
no, I'm not sure like what you guys think about it, but for me one of them is Giant X.
Yeah, I agree.
The other one,
I agree with that.
the other one is kind of MKOI. Or like
Oh,
for me, MKOI was like there were two promising games, but then one that was super off. I just hope that it's a one-off thing and it's
yeah.
not at the
Honestly,
start of a trend.
given the two first games, I think it's just a one-off because
Yeah,
like the two first game were very very clean, honestly.
And yeah, against
yeah. The one,
E2 and
the
KC
one
as
thing
well.
for me is thing for me is like after 2 years of them playing together, like after having them play for so long, I really want them to drop the off games part. Like I would want them to be a lot more consistent. Like I understand it's a BO1, right? It's anything can happen, but if we really want to see a top team that can fight, I'm really expecting them to just be strong all around. Giant X for me was just kind of the way,
Yeah, all
it's
their
very
wins were kind of robbed, honestly.
yeah, they're like two robbed wins. I'm not sure how that happened, and then they lost against Team Heretics that actually I think played quite well yesterday. I was also kind of impressed by that one single game. But obviously need to see more, but I don't know. People were saying that Giant X was supposed to be one of the better teams, and I think they look very scuffed right now. But so is probably half of the league at this point. I'm not sure about you guys, but I think half of the league is kind of scuffed.
I guess there's
Like
a
the
team
ranking.
I guess there's a team you didn't talk about with this G2, right? Like
Yeah, of
G2
course. Like
is
even G2, like even G2, but I trust that G2 it's like
so
not.
you accept the one off for G2 but not for MCOI or what?
It was two off for
Man.
G2.
Yeah,
That's why.
but honestly,
Two off, yeah,
but
exactly.
But like I told, I don't think I'm not sure if I said this in last time when we were talking about the power ranks. I think my expectation, even though I put G2 higher, I think my expectations for the end of the year is actually MCoin being better than everyone, or like
Really?
being the top one.
I think
I'm
you said the
expecting
opposite. You said that you hadn't you didn't have that much expectation on
No.
MKOI, but more on KC and G2 by the end of the year.
Yeah, I obviously, yes, that's also true. So the thing is, for me, is one is realistic and one is hope.
Okay.
So I just really want MKOI to do well. Not fan, not biased, just because I think it's mainly, for me, it's probably just the way the team is, like, that it feels like there's like good energy there. And probably I just want them to perform to the best, which they didn't in the last two international, like last two seasons. I think they never picked to. I don't think their peak is
In
far away,
spring,
but I don't
I
think
think in
they.
spring they kind of peaked, right? Like
Yeah,
they
they
were
kind of
very,
peaked,
very good.
but like I don't think even that was their peak.
Mm.
Is
Yeah,
what
I can
I'm
see
trying
what
to
you
say.
mean. And especially I think it's like a consistency thing. I want them to be consistent, consistently at
Yeah,
the top. Because I feel like last year, like starting in spring playoff, they were starting to be like consistently good, but like it was kind of late in the season already because it was in playoff, right? And then yeah, I feel like they learned a lot from MSI and EWC and Wolves. Honestly, like it just shows right now with their entry to GLEC that they learned a lot and that they are not like dropping the effort, which I was kind of scared of, because especially after talking to Melzet and him telling me that he didn't care that much about that the first split, but the fact that they are coming in that strong, because to me honestly they are the best team so far in GLC, even with that one-off. Like they played G2 and KC and they kind of stomped them. So to me, that's a clear sign that you're the best team. So yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting them to be that good from the start, and I'm quite happy that they are, because it means that they are putting in the effort and that they will, even though they don't care that much about the first split. And yeah, I just feel like the way they work and the way they like Melzet like kind of installed his culture of how to evolve as a team, how to grow, how to learn from the international experiences and stuff. I feel like they are just on the right path, And yeah, on the other hand, I feel like G2, I'm very sad to see them start that bad, because honestly, like losing to GX in the form that they are showing right now is is a very bad start. I would say that the game against SK, they just won out of the first 2 minutes, which is like to me not a very good sign, that like I can say they have a perfect game or anything, because even though they snowballed cleanly, the game was just won after a leader just decided to int on the mid lane in the first minute, So yeah, I just feel like, especially given how mid lane looks important in this meta. So yeah, I just feel like G2, given how strong they were last year in summer, I don't want them to drop the ball, because if they do, they will not look good at first end or at MSI or at Worlds, and I don't want that. I want them to keep the effort going, and I feel like MKOI did that well since spring, and it's looking like they are still ongoing, which is a great sign, I feel. And yeah, the thing is, like, the team I wanted to point out was Fnatic, because to me it doesn't look good at all as well. Like I don't know about you guys, but even though they got 2 wins, like the win against Los Ratones, it was just two teams doing nothing, honestly, and just the best team coming out on top at the end. But like both teams didn't do anything from the early game. It was kind of scary for the first match of GLC as well. Then against SK, they just got completely stomped, right? And then the game against Navi, they should have lost it. They should have lose it. I feel like, and it's not a good sign, because Fnatic were always the regular season merchants. Like they were always very good at in regular season. They were always like stomping from the early game and just snowballing. Right now, it's just looking like they are not that good in the early game. Like they don't know what to do on the map. They have no like clear point where they can play, like where Razor can play. I feel like bot lane took a huge hit. Like I'm sorry, but Lospa is not looking that good at all. Like so far, he has only played 3 games of Alistar, I feel like. So first he's an OTP, and second he's just like looking like legit a tourist in the games. Like I don't think he does anything particular, and that's a big issue. Then Ampiros had a very good game against Boss, but after that he kind of got smashed both 2 games. And yeah, I feel like Vladi has a good. Vladi is the same as always. He's struggling in lane a bit, and then he finds good plays in mid game, in team fights and stuff. So yeah, if they only rely on mid game, on team fight, on you know, like kind of inspirations from an individual, because also I think Upset is playing very well so far, like given the options that she has to play with. But if they only play through inspirations, I feel like they're gonna get roasted once they play against the best teams, and that's not a good sign. Even though it's only the start of the season, right? I think like they start 2-1, which is kind of a good sign for them. Like they will play with more, you know, relief in a sense. And yeah, I feel like, and it's kind of the same with KC, honestly. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not that
Impressed.
confident about.
Confident.
No, I'm not that confident about how about the KC showing so far. Again, it's the same as Fnatic. It's a new team and stuff, but they're just too much reliant on inspirations and individual like standout performances. And I feel like they need to play more. Like when, you know, we heard a lot the KC coaching staff, KC players in interviews and stuff, talking about how they were talented, each individuals, but they didn't play as a team yet. I feel like it really showed in that week 1. Like I wouldn't expect that it showed that much, honestly. Right now, it just feels like everyone is playing a solo queue game, you know? And yeah, that synergy needs really to grow fast, because otherwise I feel like they are not even going to be ahead of a team like Shifters or even maybe Navi, that is looking like a very good team actually, and not only good individuals, they are looking like a good team, you know. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, there are all that stuff that need to be fixed for both Fnatic and KC if they want to you know, have the right be on the right track, you know, to actually evolve and grow as they should with those individuals and this talent that they have. And yeah, especially KC, honestly, because Fnatic, I don't expect that much from by the end of the year. Like if they make it to Worlds with this roster, is honestly a good result to me, given the players they have, given the fact that they have two rookies and stuff. But KC, for example, I expect much more from them, and right now I've not been satisfied with what I saw.
That's the 2 wins anyway against KCB.
I definitely
in
agree.
in
Like
the competitive
me,
integrity
yeah.
derby, and then against Los Ratones as well. So the 2 teams they beat are like the 2 that should be the easiest ones. So maybe like not much you can take from that, regardless. Like even if they looked really good.
Yeah, and even the game against Los Ratones was like much harder than I would have thought, honestly. Even against KCB, honestly, like the game was kind of close, you know. Like even though KC had the upper hand from most of the game, like there were some timings where KCB were close to outplay them, you know. So yeah, I just feel like when it comes to the later stages, they will always show up because they have good individuals, as well as Fnatic, honestly, because they have good players individually. But if you don't find the way to actually take an advantage, like for example, the game against Los Ratones, no, sorry, the game against like KCB, I feel like Yike is playing Ginzao, right? No, sorry, I'm completely okay. The game against MKOI, they're playing Caitlyn Karma. Okay, so they should play for the bot lane, right? And then Yike just full clear on CG. That's not possible, you know. Like Yike need to put rhythm on bot lane, need to threaten to dive or to invade the bot side jungle of Elioya and stuff. And he's just on his jungle farming camps while playing Zinzao with a Karma Caitlyn bot lane. You just can't happen. Or otherwise, if you want to play that way, just don't play Caitlyn Karma on stage. Just try to practice it in you know, in scrims and stuff, and then come back with it. But you can go against a team like Movistar Koi that has that much synergy and just say, okay, we will play GRD game, we will play a comp that has a lot of dive, like dive potential, you know, with like Talia, Rumble. Even you can even play for topside, right? And just not do anything from the early game. It's not possible. So yeah, you can get away with only 300 gold, with only 300 gold advantage on bot lane, and think that's a good early, you know. And yeah, it just showed like they completely got roasted in team fights and stuff, and then there was nothing they could do in this game.
Like for me, that draft was very, very question mark ish, just
Yeah,
because
kind of.
like I think
You need to
the
stomp.
whole yeah, but aside from that, you're putting yourself basically in a timer. For me, the main thing is that with the introduction of the Phaelites, like it makes it very easy for you to kind of track the junglers. And like you said, okay, yes, Yike had to make stuff happen on the bot lane, but how does he make stuff happen on the bot lane if the enemies can track him down quite easily with everything and stuff like that? So there's a lot. I think each team has different stuff that they need to work on. Obviously, but for me, like going back to G2, the one reason I think I'm quite confident on G2 is that they've already previously shown that they can bounce back, or
Yeah.
like they can clearly do it. I have a little bit more concerns about MKOI in the sense that they can obviously bounce back as well, but the level that they've shown when they bounce back is not as convincing as G2's, for example.
So you don't think this week was good for MK?
No. I think it was fine. Like
Mm.
I think overall it was fine. It's just that I wish they didn't have that one-off game because like it looked super off. Like Jojo was in no man's land, uh, and
Yeah.
and it's just like when you have such a good team and you've shown such a good gameplay on the first two games, it just makes me say what WTF when when you see the other one on the last day, and especially when you're technically facing, you know, not like one of the weaker teams, but technically a team that you should be able to take W, you know.
I mean,
Uh,
I'd say given what I saw from Shifters, I wouldn't say they're lower like the lower standing team. You know, I would say like
no,
they're
I'm not
on
saying.
they should keep
You,
top 5 so far. From what I saw, you know, Navi and Shifters might enter in the top 5. You know.
I think I definitely see that. It's just that if you expect G2 and KC to be the top two, top three, with them top four, just to be a little bit broader, I was just hoping them to get like to see someone 3-0. But I guess it makes it a little bit more exciting. Like there's a lot more to, like we have 8 teams, no, 7 teams, 2-1. So that could potentially be a little bit more exciting for the coming weeks. One thing for me, by the way, I think, I'm not sure about you guys, but for me, KCB did fine. Like I was
Yeah.
quite happy with how the level with the level they showed. I think
Yep.
had should we do like team ratings after week one, they would probably be one of the higher ones just because of they did what I think they overperformed based on the expectations, you know.
Yeah, and especially I will say Prime their support. I wouldn't expect
Yeah.
him to play. Like that guy looked like a monster, honestly. Like in the
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
like he was making everything happen for the team as well as Yukino, but Yukino we expected more of him, I guess.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just like I wasn't actually expecting them to put in like that not like super convincing level of play, but just like a gameplay that could make them fight
Yeah,
with other teams. Like even against KC, if I remember correctly, they were like, aside from top lane that was obviously poor Tao getting stumped by Kana, uh, I think like the rest of the map was doing pretty okay.
yeah.
And considering they're like all new guys, mainly aside from Camilo who already played in the LEC, I think it's more than I would have asked.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd say like KCB when it comes to like their early game looks quite good. Like I feel like they are fighting on every lane, and that's a good thing. I'd say one thing is Camilo biggest weakness even last year I would say was that sometimes he's just doing the extra step. He's just taking it the step too far. He's not that disciplined in a sense, and I feel like it shows again. And that's something I would love him to improve on for the coming weeks. Is that he's just more disciplined. I would love him to keep playing that aggressive. Having those good moments where he just pops off in lane or doing good roams with his jungler and stuff, because he had a lot during this first week, but just not in the in the transition from early to mid game. Just stop that over aggressive plays that just ruins the team effort from the past 15 minutes. And that's something I already, as I said, I think he was one of his main issues and main struggle with Team Heretics. So yeah, I would love him to improve on that, because I think that's the one part that is missing to his gameplay to be a very good mid laner in Europe.
What do you guys
And
think
yeah, outside of that, I think we haven't talked that much about shifters, but honestly, this team is looking quite good. No, I don't know about what you guys think, but I feel like Rooster is very, very convincing. Like last year, I would say Rooster was very convincing in lane, but then he had a hard time transitioning to the mid game. And as far as I saw, like so far, what I saw from him was he had still a very good lane, but he's way better at transitioning. Even that Aurora game, I think he kind of, like, I wouldn't say he was alone, because I'd say Bukada had an insane game as well against Mkoy, but that game against Mkoy, Rooster did a lot, and he was like very, very good, putting a lot of rhythm in the side lanes and stuff. And I'd say that Bukada, for example, was kind of the weak link of shifters in the first two games, but against Mkoy, he was probably the best player in the team, honestly. Like against Mkoy, he had so many good decisions, so many good pathings. Yeah, he was just like mastering the whole match, while I feel like Elioya was the best player in the league against G2 and KC, and against him he looked completely lost. So yeah, and I would say as well that Trimby, you can see the input Trimby is bringing to this team. Like for sure, like some decision making, some as well, like Trimby is always Trimby. He will always have those moments where he just take it a step too far as well, a bit like Edisung back in the days, but like less crazy, I would say. But he will always try to make stuff happen on the map. He will always try to win everywhere on the map as well, because I think he's a very good roamer. He's timing very well when to go to mid lane, when to go to top lane and stuff. And the best thing about him, I would say, is that he's very, very aggressive. He will always try to find timings, play for the team. He will always try to make the play, and that's why sometimes he can look like an Inter. But as well, I think if he just remove that part of his gameplay where he just take it the step too far as well, I would say right now Trimby is looking very, very good. I wasn't expecting him to look that good, honestly, after a split off GLC and stuff, a year off GLC and stuff.
What do you guys reckon of
definitely
Vitality as well? That's maybe like the only other team I think we've not mentioned.
Which one? Vitality. Yeah, Vitality. I'm not sure, honestly, about them. I'd say like,
yeah, same.
I'd say like the top lane is looking very strong, but I was expecting that. And outside of it, like Flesh is looking good as well, but in summer he was already looking good. And then I'd say like Humanoid has really some weird timings as well. Like he's, you can see he's like, he want to put pace on the map, he want to play, he want to make stuff happen, but yeah, sometimes it's just looking like an Inter as well. But like it's, I would say, like, for example, Karzi is not looking that much of an Inter so far, and especially I think that last game kind of saves him, because he had a very good game. But again, like those two, Karzi and Humanoid, it's looking like they can pop off and just like drop off at any moment, and that's kind of a big issue to me.
Same.
When you want to be a top 4 team, right?
That's the one thing that always concerns me about Vitality, and one of the reasons why I still struggle to put them higher than 5th or 6th. I put them, I think it was 5th, just because it's like, I know the potential is there, but you just never know when it comes.
Yeah.
And then when it comes, you don't know how it lasts, like how long it will last,
Exactly.
before they
And
chop
even
off again. It's like for me, I'm sorry, like for me, the comparison is like it's kind of like European KT in the sense that
I can see.
you know, like
I can see it.
you know that the team it has that thing, but you just don't know when it's going to actually come out. And
Do you mean that
then
Vitality can win worlds or what?
I mean, KT didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
But just like it's just very randomish, and unless until I see more, I cannot. I don't want to like
Yeah, same.
point the finger at them or like praise them more than or like more than anything else. So I think it's just like, okay, they got 2 wins, but it's still they lost to they beat SK and they beat KCB both 1 and 2, and then they lost to Navi, which I think is honestly like probably a gatekeeper team for me. This LEC can be potentially a gatekeeper team between like the top teams and then the mid pack actually.
And Vitality, I feel like while the whole team is kind of full of uncertainty and stuff, I feel like it's very good that Naknako is achieving to be like the consistent point of this. Yeah, the consistency of the consistency of this team. Especially as he's not a rookie, but he's his second year in GLEC, and he's already looking like he's taking on the responsibilities of being the franchise player of this team. And that's a good thing. Like they have a lot to build on in the future with this player if he keeps on putting that effort, if he keeps on being that reliable and stuff. It will just be a matter of adjustments, and yeah, they have a good baseline, I would say, with him as well. And I'd say I hope Linsas will become that as well, because I think he has the potential. But so far, I can't say he has been as reliable and as consistent as Naktako has been in the 3 first game.
I guess one thing with this, like with it having been a super week as well, it's can be wary of like being carried away too much with how teams, especially a super week on the first week as well. Like I don't know, you have like one off weekend and it could look like your whole split is going to be like a total disaster. Or also in the case of like Los Ratones, it kind of puts you in a position straight away where things are kind of disastrous immediately, like has happened with other
Every
teams.
game is a do or die, basically.
Yeah.
I think actually for me, like for LR, it's like they just only need to like go one game at a time. Just don't look at the scoreboard. Just try to focus on gameplay. There's nothing else. Even if they lose, it's whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing with these winter formats, like where it's just so quick and it's like so many games quickly. It's just you have an issue, you have like really not a lot of time to fix it and things. So I'm kind of happy that apart from Los Ratones, that like every other team at least has a win, so there's not too many teams in that like deer in headlights situation of like, oh fuck, we're fucked already. What do we do? And then it's a panic and it's like a downward spiral and yeah. So I guess it also helps that there's more teams, so it's like a bit of a longer winter split, or at least the regular season. Whereas the other ones, like I remember the first one that was like literally 3 weeks, 3 super weeks, and like I think that might have been like the Fnatic roster that just like completely imploded straight away at the time, and it was it's a bit harsh. I was just before we started recording, I saw that you, Davide, a few days ago posted some predictions for the season. I thought it'd be funny to have a look at those because there's a couple that.
Oh my god! I'm going to get blasted.
Shaky. So let's have a look. Actually, hold on. I've got the wrong thing on. Hold your horses. Oh, maybe I should turn that off. There you go. So, you did some predictions.
Okay, the first one is already a no-go for me. We already have a problem.
Well, let's see. Firstly, LCK won't have a clear number 1 for most of the year. I think that one.
That is not.
We talked about on the...
No, to me it's not fine. To me it's not fine already.
No, why not?
Sorry, but to me like.
No, this is like it's like not predictions. It's just like the bold
hot
predictions.
Takes.
Hot
takes,
yeah. It's kind of like the hot takes of the 2026 season. Actually, just getting one of them would probably be a success to me. because I tried to like go really, you know,
Big swings.
opposite way. While I was writing this, I was like, "There's no way," you know. There's
I
no
just
way.
saw the second one and think, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah,
And you see
bear
the
in mind that
IG start?
bear in mind that I wrote one of them after the Demacia Cup. I put the IG one after the Demacia Cup, so I'll cover myself with that, you know, just in case.
Yeah, because so far it's not looking like like
Yeah.
I feel like top 5 will be a huge success for them already.
Let's see what else.
But
One
yeah.
team between G2 and MKOI won't make it to Worlds. I mean, that's a slow
can see
burner,
that.
so we've
I
got a
can see
while.
that. But I can see that honestly, given you know how Navi shifters are looking from the start, like it can happen. I honestly think
Oh man,
it
like
can happen.
honestly, for me, it will be like there's going LEC will only get 3 slots, and then so like one team between KC. It will be like last year, you know, one team between G2M KC will make it, because it's like that's kind of like the thing. I just didn't want to put KC because I think they will. I want them to be there this year, because I really wanted them to be there last year and they didn't. They failed at the very end. I just want them to go this year.
Yeah, and I want them to go also because I think they need that international experience. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
first end was just not.
Nah, you
You
don't
know,
call
it's
that.
not. You can call it an international experience because it's only a week, right? And also the fact that, like, even though I know for a fact because I saw some interview from Calist and stuff saying that it was kind of the most. The moment of his career where he learned the most, but it's only 1 week, right? So imagine
Yeah.
if he could learn that much, but in the span of a full MSI, a full Worlds, it's just another dimension. And also you just play more teams because the chance that Casey had in first end, like they had some luck because they could play against the LPL team, like BLG. I know they screamed against BLG, against JGG and stuff, but honestly, like I'm not even sure they screamed like top LCK teams. While you know when you go to MSI to Worlds, you play all these teams. You just play everyone, so you just learn a lot more. And you can see again looking at MKOI and stuff that they've learned a lot, you know, and you can improve. Like there's no way you can improve as much as if you go to a long international event. And also the fact that MSI, like the MSI ticket, gives you also an esports World Cup ticket. You know, it's just like it's like close to as much time as you would play if you were to Worlds in the end. So both internationals are the most important for sure. You know, and by a very large margin compared to first end.
Right. The next prediction is one that I quite like, and it's one that's gonna get people off my back hopefully, because I had some shit from you guys for putting Los Ratones last week in 10th. That seemed surprising, and I've already had a dig early this episode about being a Los Ratones fan. Davide 11th, and have a look at this. What's this for a prediction? Los Ratones will be in the mid pack of LEC Versus.
It's called hot takes for a reason, man.
Then you should have had the hot take on bloody hot takes. I look like an idiot putting them in 10th now.
Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema.
I've already buggered my rankings completely.
I mean, just a little bit of hope, guys. You always need some hopium in life, I think. I don't know. There are plenty of them now. Just like I would say, yeah, let's just drop the ball and.
Okay, the fifth one is actually doable. The fifth one is actually doable.
Yeah,
I feel like.
you know, like that's where my money is at, honestly. Like based on how things are standing, I think we can probably chat about a little bit about the LCK like in a couple of minutes, but I think there's a chance. I don't remember the other ones honestly. Like
Yeah,
I wrote
same.
some super random stuff.
This might be right.
Okay, the K-Sante one is probably.
A lot of you plays it, but yeah, I don't think it will be the most played. I think
Western
right
team
now
wins
it's like
best of 5
Corki,
against...
Yunara, Azir. Assassin win the first. Yeah.
It's a bit more broad, yeah. FlyQuest International 2. Either BLG or AL miss out Worlds. That's a big one.
Yeah,
That's bold.
that's
Bro,
impossible.
honestly, like,
That's
I don't
impossible.
know. I feel
I
like
think that's impossible.
how much time we have? Like 15 minutes. I think I really want to talk about the LPL right now because it's like, okay, now BLG is clearly the number one, so we're back to where the expectations were. But aside from that, it's like I don't know about the rest. Like I'm getting
I feel
very
like
concerning
AL is
signs
looking
from.
very strong right now. Don't
I
think
think
so?
AL is looking. I think yeah, but my issue is like I feel like this is their peak. You know, like I feel like um, if for me, it's a concerning side the fact that since I rated AL higher this season, I feel like it's going to be like a downward trend for AL for starting from here.
Mm,
That's my
yeah,
my
okay.
concern. I was expecting to like BLG and AL kind of swap places over the course of the year as like BLG gets better over time, but it just looks to me like BLG have already found everything, and it's like actually Danny has been quite a good drafter
Yeah,
compared to
crazy, no?
PLG's last year.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of crazy to think about it, but it's like apparently this guy did some crazy magic and his things are working out. They just stomped IG today as well.
I would say Shun as well look like a very good magician.
Yeah,
This team.
definitely. Yeah. But my issue is like AL. I don't know. I feel like it's not going to get better than much better than this. What I think like other teams like below them might get better over time, or it's probably a little bit due to the meta because I feel like they're kind of AL was super good on team fighting and lane swaps, just a general way of
Yep.
making sure that they can get away with murder in the sense that laning wise, Hope and Flandre were never like the strong laning guys. And the lane swap kind of hid that weakness. Now that like lanes are super like you're super lane focused, they're getting this literally like not like dismantled, but they're kind of getting punished all around.
But then
And
they
that was
come back.
very
But their main strength is still showing. I feel like in
yeah,
teamfight
I
they are
think
still
their
looking.
main strength is showing. Yeah, I think that the fundamental thing of the laning phase is something that I'm not sure. Like it's usually hard to fix because it just comes down. It's like it's hard to fix, and if it's fixed, I'm not even really sure whether that will transition to better success for them. And obviously, it probably also sucks the fact that the head coach apparently didn't get the visa. So I'm not sure how much he's able to help them remotely. Or that was at least until last week. I think I saw the news. But aside from that, I think they're obviously still, I think, the number 2 team for now. I'm just worried that they might drop the ball as the year goes on, especially since I think JDG has already looked a lot more convincing to me this week, or like the past match that they had, and even like Toss P Sports has looked a little bit better. They took Weibo, I think. So I kind of need to see
I'd
a little
say
bit more.
I'd say on the brighter side for AL, I was kind of worried about Hope showing coming back to GLPL, and right now he's looking very strong. Like honestly, he surprised me a lot with how he plays so far.
I mean,
Even
bro,
against
I'm sorry.
Viper, he held
Yeah,
his
but
own.
he got stomped that game. Like there was one game here he got stomped very bad.
The
Like
the last
the
one.
difference between difference between the two was quite visible. And
I would say like in the last you're right. I think there was one game where it was hard, but other than that, like so far he's showing. I'd say with Flandre, no, maybe with Tarzan. I would say so far they are the best players in the team, right? Like to me, Hope is looking very good. I was not expecting that after that tough world and stuff. I was expecting him to look. Also the fact that now Tabe is out and stuff. That they have the issues with Helper and stuff, but no, he's looking very strong, and I'm happy with that. Because I would say like he was the weakest player.
I
in
still
the
think
team
he's kind
afterwards.
of the weak link, to be honest. But it's not like it's like it's always weird to say weak link when the team is so strong, you know. Like it's as if
Mm.
find the weak link in BLG, and now if you look at BLG's games, you would say it's Shun, but would you say Shun sucks? No, you know, it's that kind of discussion going on there. But just I think that Hope, based on the trend that we've seen from him in the past few years and seasons, he's never like peaked. His peak has never been like a peak like Flandre winning worlds, or like Shanks coming out and like, you know, matching Chovy, or like be around there in terms of laning phase and level of play. I think he's always been a small tier below. Uh, so that's over the long term. I just worry that that's like the max potential that you can get out of him, and that's also one of the reasons why I think KL struggled, like couldn't take down T1 last year, as an example.
Yeah,
So I
for
think
sure.
I
At Worlds, it was
I,
the problem, but
I think
yeah.
T like AL had, we already talked about this, but like AL had the chance to take down T1, and because I think T1 was super vulnerable going into AL, and they couldn't make it. No.
Yeah,
But in terms of struggles, I really want to talk about another team. But yeah, go on.
no, just I wanted to highlight also that Knight is just too good. You know,
Yeah,
Knight so far is
yeah.
looking like
This guy's insane.
damn. Yeah. Like honestly, you expect him to be always reliable and stuff, but right now, he has just he just has no how you say it, no competition. You know, he has no competition in the world league, and that's kind of crazy. But yeah, and also I hope Team will stop uh, giving like Rek'Sai to Flandre. I feel like just stop it, guys. Stop it. He's just the
Yeah.
best Rek'Sai in the world. He will always make things happen with this pick. Just ban it, or pick it first. Pick it. I don't know, whatever. But don't don't let him play that, because I feel like he played it in every series so far.
I mean, there
Yes.
was like a 5-man ult,
Yeah,
5-man
that
W.
flash five man.
That was like,
Yeah,
that was insane.
like a
Like
Malphite ult, but
I
on
think it's
Rek'Sai.
just that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I really wanted also to talk about HLE, because I feel like the LCK is going kind of as we expected. I think there's only two teams that for me are standing out. One in positive, one in negative. The one in negative is obviously Hung Alive, because it's like, what the fuck is going on there? The other one, it would be BFX.
And D
Like,
plus, I would say, but yeah.
I mean, okay, but like, I think D plus, I was probably, based on what happened in Caspa Cup, was already raising my expectations a little bit more.
Okay.
But just the fact that like BFX with Vlikla, like who is Vlikla?
Yeah. The year of
Who the
Vikla.
like what? I if this is the Vikla, then I'm going to have to change my full power rankings, because obviously it makes sense. I went with the expectation that Vikla would suck, and it actually would get to the point where Daystar would play, and we basically get a faker Vikla. I'm gonna say probably not faker Vikla, but just like you know, that level of impact within the team.
And honestly, like
So
how we smashed Scout, I was like, okay, Scout is completely boosted again this year, and then
yeah,
Scout just tombed Zeka, and I'm like,
yeah.
So is it just Zeka
Sus.
is too good or what?
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? Like, I have no clue what's going on there, but I'm actually excited because uh, like the elder group with now D plus going to an O, BFX going to an O now makes it a lot more interesting, because now you also have like HLE that needs to catch up, and KT who's also there. Um, so definitely a positive, like a welcome sign for me. On the other side, I think it's very expected, I guess. Like Genji T1 winning, and then Nongshim being there. I'm still have a lot of question marks around Nongshim, because like it's like Vitality. Like it goes back to the Vitality kind of
Yeah.
discussion, you know. Just you know, Scout can be Scout himself can be can be them one game, and then be 2025 Scout the one before, the one after. So It's going to be a weird one. What's the net matchup this week? By the way, I was checking.
There is G
If
plus
there's
against Nongshim, the first game tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Oh, phew. Showmaker against Scout. That will be fun.
Yeah.
I think the main. I actually, more than KTT1, the Telecom War, I'm actually excited to see T1 BFX. Cause like this week, like against Faker, you know.
Yeah, and also while we talk about T1 being good so far, I feel like Paze and Keria have not been that outstanding. I think there was one game where they played very good. It was Aphelios Thresh, I think, where they played very, very good. But outside of that, I would say that the top side is mainly carrying them, honestly. And especially Paze. I feel like Paze is not finding the solution so far, which is kind of like I was not expecting that at all. Honestly, I was expecting him to be like very, very good, especially in regular season and stuff. So yeah, maybe you just need to find this rhythm, you know, to just know how to like just find confidence actually, because it's obviously a big step, you know, to play for T1 from a day to day. From a day-to-day experience. It's not the same as when you play together for GGG, I guess. And outside of that, Doran has been kind of popping off to me. I don't know what you think, but like against Zeus, for example, he played very, very well. Even against Switch.
I mean, Doran has always been the Zeus killer, no?
Yeah, true. But yeah, but I feel like he's T1's main option right now. You know, and I don't know if you saw that game against Shelly as well, where Faker was just grinding on them like with his Silas.
Yeah.
I just seen that he was just putting on a montage every play. It was kind of crazy,
Yeah.
honestly. Like Hunk still got it, but yeah. And honestly, I wanted to talk about G Plus a bit also, because I feel like what I was expecting from G Plus now that they have Smash and Carrier was that they would play more towards bots and less towards Showmaker. And given how the meta is right now, I feel like mid lane is the most important role by far, you know. And I feel like, so I was expecting Showmaker to take on more of, play for the side role. And he did a bit because he played a lot of race game, I feel like. But he also played for himself, you know. I think he played a LeBlanc game against Oriana where he completely smashed Romer, the mid laner of Brian. And there was also that game where he played Echo, right, against Syndra. So yeah, I feel like he's just, you know, he's still Showmaker, you know, like he still want to put on the hit in the mid lane and stuff, and just like smash the matchup he will have. But at the same time, you know, he can take on that role where he will just play for the other lanes with a Rise or something. And so that's good to see that he can adapt to this new team. And I think that it will be very important, because the way GK is playing right now, I feel like they want to play on for every resources on the map. And also there's a big asset that they have in that regard, is that Lucid is so far, to me, the best player in the team. Like, he's looking very, very good. And I would say Lucid was already very good against the worst team last year. So I'm just expecting him to just play at the same level against the best team. I just need to see him against, for example, Nongshim, to see him against T1 and stuff. And then I think I could say that if Lucid is looking better than last year or not. But so far he's looking very, very good.
I mean, they play against T1.
No,
they play against Gen G, and then they play Gen G on
week
2,
Gen
and
G,
then T1 on week 3. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that match, especially because I think Canyon is still looking like the worst player in Gen G. But again, it's the worst player in the best team in the world. So
yeah,
I guess
it's always that. It's always that discussion.
Shall we wrap it up there? You've got to go, ain't you, Ethan?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. We can't not get away with this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because we cut off Davide's predictions right before the best one. I'm not sure if he did that on purpose, because he said, "Oh, let's talk about the LPL." T1 won't make it to the top 4 at Worlds. I just had to get that one on record so that we've got it on here so everyone sees that. That is bold.
Honestly,
and then people will now call me T1 hater, man.
I quite like your explanation of it's pretty sound. The fact that a couple of the times they've won Worlds recently, they scrape into Worlds in the first place and like almost don't qualify. You should have just gone. You should have gone balls deep, Davide, and just said they won't make it to Worlds. I think you should have just
That
gone
would
all
be
in.
crazy.
Nah, I think it would be crazy, man. It's like they're going to have 4 spots anyway. So like if you put it that way, it means that a team between BFX, KT, Nongshim will have to beat T1. And we already count that D plus will probably be higher than T1. Like,
But in the last 2 years, that's true. In the last 2 years, they were very, very close from not
yeah, I
making it,
think
right?
yeah, but like for me, it's like I think like
They always find a way.
KT was the standout last year. I think this year probably could be DK who will be replaced KT, but then like seeing T1 lose to any of the 3 teams I just said would be kind of crazy.
De Viclayer.
And I wasn't.
De Viclayer.
I wasn't too comfortable putting that out like that much of a hot take there right there.
But honestly, I think while I don't think it will happen, I think it will be a very, very positive sign for League of Legends.
Except for when there's half the viewership.
I mean,
on the
I just
final.
want.
Yeah, but at least you have another narrative.
Someone needs to win.
At least you just save the future, you know. Anyway, T1 will stay. Faker has his contract running until 2029. It's fine. No worries. They will be in the top 4 again. Just let some pieces for the other teams.
Let KC win one.
I don't think it will be. I think it might take.
Nah, bro, you gotta believe. You gotta believe. Just like Lee believes in SK, you know.
Lee, do you
And
believe
in
SK will
Tottenham.
win
They'll
Worlds?
come good. Don't worry. Well, I had more belief after your interviews when everyone's saying that they're doing really well, and they had a good off season. So maybe it's just a rocky week. It's just an off weekend. They'll be all right next week. Right, we'll leave it there then.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, guys. I'm glad you're still here, Ethan, for the time being. I'm glad they could.
Yep.
I'm glad they could find a deal that was suitable for you. With your outrageous demands, God knows what they managed.
Very, very suitable deal. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you all next week, and thanks for watching as always.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
See you guys.